And welcome back to Split, Croatia. We're here live for the second leg of the Rugby Europe Sevens Championship Series 2026. We had a great tournament in Hamburg a few weeks back, and energy is being brought to the pitch once more today. We saw some difficult conditions in the morning sessions with the high winds here in Split, but they seem to have dropped. We were just down pitch side and the flags are still fluttering, but the gusts are nowhere near as strong as they were, so we're expecting a slightly higher quality of rugby, maybe less technical errors than we saw in the morning sessions. A lot of excitement here. There we see the coming fixture, Spain against Great Britain in the women's competition. We are still in the pool stages. It's heating up here slowly. We're approaching 5 o'clock local time, and it is a hot, hot day. There, once more, confirmation of the fixtures as they stand. We will have Spain against Great Britain, Belgium, Denmark, Germany, Sweden, Poland, Portugal, Ireland, Turkey, and then closing the women's action for the day with France against Czechia at 10 to 7 local time. After that block of women's games, we will then progress with the men's competition, wrapping up the pool action for day one. Like I said, it's hotting up, 29 degrees. It feels a little bit warmer, if I'm perfectly honest. I don't know what the players think, but it's a hot old day for Sevens rugby. I'm joined once more by Andy Knight. He'll be jumping in a little bit later to provide us with some expert insights to the proceedings here in Croatia.
Yeah, hi Ian. Good to be back with you again. They're looking forward to this second session here. Some good games this morning, as you said. The wind's dying down a little, the sun is good. I think it's a bit cooler in some ways without that strong breeze, but let's wait and see what the players see. I'm sure we'll get a bit of chat with them as we go along. We'll hopefully get some interviews with a few of the players. Our on-pitch video guy, Danny, will be down there getting a few words of wisdom from them, I'm sure. Did you, one question for you, did you have a favourite game from this morning's session?
Oh, I don't know if I had a favourite game. I mean, I really enjoyed that British men's team. I thought they brought a new energy in comparison to previous tournaments. I enjoyed watching the Irish women a lot as well. They've turned up here with a stronger squad, and I think I'm just soaking it all up, Andy, to be perfectly honest. I would struggle to pick out a specific highlight from all the action that we saw.
Yeah, it's a fair comment as well. There has been some good things, there's been some bad things as well. I think the wind has certainly not helped with some of the kicking that we've seen, but the conditions underfoot on the pitch there, excellent, I have to say. The feedback I got from a couple of the players in the teams was they were worried at first because it looked so dry, but it's actually quite a soft pitch, although the warm-up pitch has not really helped them from what they're saying. However, once they're on that main pitch for the crowd to watch and the TV cameras to be on, it's been really good, so that's good to hear that they've enjoyed that. And I'm not sure if there's been a bit of watering going on in this little break that we've had, but it looks quite good. There's some pigeons having a little bath over there. That's really good to see.
Indeed.
Maybe it means that they have done a bit of seeding on the pitch as well, but I have to say I quite enjoyed Team Sweden again, having the women's team back there, and although they didn't win their game, the fact that they're playing some free-flowing rugby has certainly been impressive, and I think they've got a bit more to show, and hopefully they will go on and do a bit better. And I agree that both actually GB men and women's team have showed up this week. They certainly have put their rugby boots on and seem to be playing some good rugby, so I'm hoping for a bit more from them as the afternoon session takes place.
Yeah, absolutely. And how good is it to see Ellie Kildutton in the stands supporting her wee brother playing for the men's team, a real superstar of the women's game.
Yeah, as you said, she was there. She's got her boots with her as well, so if anyone's looking for a new player, I think you could do worse than ask Ellie to join either the men's or the women's teams, because she would certainly slot into those teams quite the thing, and it would be a privilege to see her playing live here in Croatia. I'm not sure that she will put the boots on. I think she'll just be here for a bit of training and a bit of support for her brother and for the women's team that she's played for before, I'm sure. But let's see how it progresses as we hear about some of the things that are going on this evening. There's a bit of a party going on. We've got a DJ here. It's your new girlfriend, I've heard, Ian.
We did share a flight together and got to know each other a little bit better. Knoldall seems to be a big name here. I've never heard of her, to be perfectly honest. I'm more about the rugby, Andy. I'm a professional, as you know. But yes, enough of the lightheartedness. The Croatian Rugby Union doing a great job of hosting us here this weekend. They've organised a party, so there's nothing left to do than to get your tickets if you're in the area. Anyone holidaying in Croatia at the moment? We're here for 3 days. Don't miss out.
Absolutely, and we're seeing the VIP tent. We've got the doormen are on there getting ready as well. Though I'm sure there'll be some music going on. There'll be a bit of non-alcoholic and alcoholic beverages to be had later on. I'm sure there'll be a few people partying, maybe not the players, not until the last evening, but I'm sure we'll see a few stars down there as we go along. We've got our stadium announcers, the two Dans as they're known.
Absolutely, the two Dans. A Scottish German and a Croatian. What a terrible duo.
Exactly. But let's give a little shout out to some of the ball boys and ball girls here as well. They've been sitting out in that hot sun as well. They've got you'll see them on your TV screens with their white hats and white t-shirts. They've been doing a cracking wee job. They were asking some questions, signing some autographs, or getting some autographs signed, going around. Great to see that they're getting involved, and as you said, the Croatian Union here have managed to pull some of these people together and really supported the event. So let's hope, as you said, we can get some more people down, especially for the next couple of days, and see if we can make this an event to remember.
Absolutely. Just a couple of minutes away from kickoff now. We are running on time here, so it'll be a 5 o'clock kickoff for Spain against Great Britain. Both teams getting victories in their first games and looking to take pole position in Group C. And as I say that, the players do take to the field. Spain will once more be wearing their white change kit, playing from left to right, and Team GB playing from right to left in their classic navy blue with red and white details. And the excitement rises here in the stadium. I'm seeing not much of the pitch because there's a big Union Jack flying right in front of my nose. The British fans are excited. And we're off. Britain is struggling to control that first kickoff. Knocking it on, advantage to Spain. They carry on playing even though they're moving backwards. Referee with a short blow of the whistle, signalling it will be the first scrum of the game. Spain in a good position here to start building their attack. Midfield scrum, binding in the forwards and giving the backs lots of space to attack. And they're off down the right hand side. slightly on her own, so she does well just to slow things down, step back away from the contact, and give her support the chance to arrive. They recycle well, and now they do look to move it in the width, dummying and going through the gap as the British defence shoots up. The offload is good too, and Spain get things underway here in Split after 1 minute of action in this afternoon session.
And we have a full score of the match. Spain leads 5-0.
So not all that much difficulty in scoring that first try. The British defence just trying to put some pressure on the Spanish attack, and that just creating the gap. And the conversion is unsuccessful, I believe. It is indeed. So it will stay at 5-0 after 1 minute 45 on the clock. This time Britain do field the kickoff cleanly. They may live to rue that first kickoff that they didn't regather. But there's a lot of rugby still to be played in this game. Up almost towards the halfway line. And then the Spanish defence putting on all sorts of pressure. Britain losing 10 metres in that phase. And finally getting to ground and able to recycle. An inaccuracy on that pass, giving Spain the opportunity just to pressurise and jackal, and that's exactly what they do. Great technique in the contact zone. And Spain again looking to follow up that first try with another one in the corner. It's been awarded, so Spain couldn't have wished for a better start to their second pool game.
Yeah, that was a lovely little score there from who was it there? I think it was the number 9, Martina Serrano Garcia. Spain definitely up in the tempo here. I mean, I like the way that the GB team had started previously, but this Spanish team have come out firing, all guns blazing, and have really raised that tempo of the game. And GB need to step up a little bit now and really raise their game if they want to compete in this one.
And Spain with the kickoff once more. This one is mishit. Not the sweetest of strikes. And that gives Great Britain the opportunity from the tap. And they'll look to find their footing in this game. Struggling to build any sort of continuity. And here they go. Finding the outside space. And they are through with Loviband charging towards the try line. And getting Great Britain on the score sheet.
Yeah, lovely little break there from Ella Loviband there. We talked about her in the first game. She's got a bit of speed about her, a bit of power as well, but she just found that gap and just accelerated through. And that's more like the GB that we saw in the first game when they played Belgium. They're really looking to up that tempo a little bit as well and get into it. So maybe the rest has not done them as much good as it has done Spain, but there we go, the scores are on the board again.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was exactly what Britain needed, just to get quickly back into things, not let the Spanish run away with it. And now I'd say it's pretty much a level playing field again. Great Britain to kick off. And that kick does find grass around the 22. It bounces kindly, but Spain just fumbling that. I wonder if there's just a slight lethargy after the long break that we had. That's not the kind of error that we have come to know from Spain. Normally such a clinical side, especially in terms of their technical attributes.
Absolutely, I mean, it was a great kick. It found grass, as you say, a big space there, but what a chase from Courtney Greenway as well, just to put pressure under the Spanish defence there. So good pressure from her. It maybe made the Spanish player just look up and see what's going on as we see the ball go away from the scrum, but it's a fumble and a knock on into Spanish hands as they attack up the far side as we're looking.
Yeah, and transitioning really quickly into attack there, aren't they? The amount of meters they make, needing no second invitation. Now they distribute the ball in the width. Got 2-on-1 on the outside. That's knocked on in the tackle. It won't be a deliberate knock on, I suspect, But Spain finding the gap and charging through. Off to the races, Garcia Gala of Spain, dotting down under the post and extending the lead to 15 points to 5. That is a 10-point lead with a conversion still to come. And Great Britain struggling to just find their footing in this fixture, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, that was lovely play from Spain, as you said, the break away after the transition into attack. They had a great line set up there. I saw the depth of it there, and they managed to move the ball wide, force the GB outside player, I think it was Lovaban, to come up and then get that little hand in there, which you may think it was not a yellow card offence, but those one hands in sevens quite often turn into that. However, they got the ball away, and then Garcia Gala trots over for another score. Well played, Spain, as we see GB coming back again.
Yeah, we're right on the way here again. No time wasting here. Great Britain will look to capitalise quickly, and that was Greenway again. She's been a fantastic player in the first game of the tournament, and looking to carry that form into this. Penalty, Great Britain. I think Greenway was just thinking about the quick tap there, but calming things down instead, and they signal the scrum.
Yeah, as well played by Eva Wood there, just taking the ball to just did a little movement on the ground, which made the Spanish player just put her hands onto the grass past the ball, which you're not allowed to do. You've got to put your hands straight onto that ball if you're going to scoop it up. So referee saw that and gave the infringement to GB, who've opted for the scrum in the middle. Options both sides. Let's see what speed they've got.
And they're off down the left, stepping and fending and being confronted by 2 or 3 Spanish defenders. There's not a lot of space down that small channel. And Great Britain once again being sent backwards, although they're in possession, and they've once more been jackled. Miranda Morales it was this time, with the great technique over the ball.
Exactly that, great technique there, straight over the top there, no hands past it this time, and Spain will kick it out just to go into half time with that little 12-point lead and take the well-earned rest that they deserve. Well played in that half, Spain.
Yeah, absolutely, well played, Spain. I was expecting a much closer affair between these two teams after the first games, so Spain will be delighted to be taking a lead into half time, and a significant lead at that. 17 points to 5. We have 7 minutes of rugby coming up to see off this fixture after the half-time break. Andy, what are your thoughts on that first half?
Yeah, there's some good rugby. Tenuous start. Everyone a little bit anxious maybe coming back after the break. Not quite finding their feet straight away, but Spain have certainly got the ascension here. They're definitely playing a little bit better. However, it's not that GB are playing particularly badly and making terrible mistakes. I think Spain are just finding their feet a bit quicker, and my personal feeling is that GB will come into this game now in the second half. I think they'll start to find their feet. They've got the wind behind them now as well, which we've seen in the first sessions. That was definitely a contributing factor to the games that we played and the points that were scored. Spain will find themselves probably under a bit more pressure this half, I think, trying to get either out of their own half, or if they get stuck in the halfway line, just trying to really play into the GB half, because that wind, although it's died down a little bit, is still strong and will be a significant part going forward.
Yeah, the wind seems to have died down just for the lunch break, and it's picked up again as soon as the action got back underway. But you're absolutely right, Andy. We have seen a tendency that the teams playing from left to right have been able to pin back the opposition using that wind to their advantage. That could be exactly what GB need.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. We've just said 12 points difference. It's only 2 scores realistically. Assuming you get a converted try with one of them under the post or a good kick. All very doable. However, although we're saying it's 2 scores, that means that Spain don't score. And I wouldn't bet against that as well. Spain, great team. They're showing some good teamwork here as we see the kick-off going nice and long into the sun.
Yeah, just nice we step and fend and tidying things up well there by Spain. They'll look to just keep possession for a bit, and they'll know they won't. They don't want possession, they want points, and they're streaking away to the first points of this half. extending their lead. That's a nightmare start for Great Britain, falling off a tackle, and Spain capitalised ruthlessly.
Yeah, I actually didn't think it was that bad a kickoff, as it were. I thought that it was obviously a bit deep, but there was a good press, but a little slip tackle. You know, maybe the Deefs were just not fully switched on. Maybe there were little footwork we couldn't quite see after she'd caught the ball, but by heck, it was a good run down that outside line to put the score on.
Yeah, and it was Miranda Morales again, wasn't it? She's got pace for days, and she's getting a little bit of a break now. So she's done her job. As we continue with the Pool C fixture. That kick initially not travelling 10, but it has now, so it will be play on. Shilika tidies up well under good pressure from the chasing Spanish players. Oh, going for the intercept. That's high risk, high reward kind of stuff, and this time there is no reward. But GB once more giving up possession slightly too easily, and Spain will have the opportunity just to work this attack, run down the clock, keep possession, and look to extend their lead. They've got 3 players stacked on this left hand side, and that is where they go. Once more fending and taking it up to the gain line. Oh, and again, just fending off that initial tackler very well. The pressure was on, but keeping a cool head and dealing with it very well before the next little unforced error comes in. It's a knock-on. It'll be scrum time for Great Britain as we see number 12, Shaw de Leon, getting some treatment in back play. I hope she'll be alright.
Yeah, just going back a little there, GB been forced into the little one-handed offload. It didn't quite go to hand, so turnover to Spain. They did well to capitalise there and move the ball away from that contact area. And we saw it coming down with, I think it's the number 3 from Spain, is it Cortez Ecobo, just showing her strength, drawing in 2 players again. That's the power and the expertise of this Spanish team. Once they get a little turnover, they tend to move it away from that contact area and find a space, which they've done very nicely. As we see another couple of changes coming on as well, some fresh legs.
Yeah, for Team GB we've got number 15 Lucia Scott taking to the field. And I think Team GB do have a good depth in their squad this weekend, so these replacements can have a real impact on proceedings.
Yeah, I think I saw Ruiz Madrid come on there as well for Spain. She's an experienced player.
Oh, and straight into the action. That was the new player, and Scott, and she's been jackled. So Spain rewarded for their hard work in defence, but Britain's struggling to string the phases together right now, Andy. They're going one phase and then coughing it up in a handling error, or here it was just a little bit of a late support.
Yeah, a bit frustrating on their part, I'm sure, that this time Spain were in there quickly, and it was Blanco Hordeguera Pedrero who got that one, and she was quick to the breakdown again, hands on the ball, showed the referee that she was attempting to go for the ball, and got her just rewards after that, as we see the Spanish scrum going off to the right, attacking down there with a good pass out to the wide side, but they snap it back again.
Oh, with attacking the line with real speed there. And they find the space on the left-hand side, Andy. Charging towards the line, but well covered. That was Katie Shilika. She is working hard out there and getting reward. What a great covering tackle.
Yeah, great tackle on Molina Colomina, there. If she'd missed that one, she was in for a score there, but great cover tackle. I'm sure Shilika will not be happy after missing out a lot of the Hamburg tournament, so now she's back, all guns blazing, as we see the GB team throwing the ball a little wider now. Shilika on the ball again, just hitting those 15-metre channels and forcing the pass. Picked up by Cortez Ecobo. Going in on the corner again. Lovely little play. Again, Ian, coming from a mistake. There's another simple mistake there from Team GB that they could eradicate.
Absolutely. And as a coach, I look at that in two ways. I mean, and one aspect you're saying, well, if we can cut those errors out, we're going to be a real force to be reckoned with. But you've got to identify why we're making these errors first.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it seemed to me that whoever's out in the wing there for Team GB just stayed a little bit too close to Shilliker. Shilliker was obviously, their aim is to go around into the 15-metre channels, which is where your winger needs to be, around the 5-metre channel, so they can then pick and choose their line. But instead they were running parallel lines and just getting caught up with each other. And by the time that Shilliker got across, the pass was about a 2-metre pass and just fired at her hands too much. So little turnover, but as I say, Spain, well done. You know, as I said, I think it was Cortez Acoba that got the turnover there, and I didn't see who the scorer was, apologies, but got the ball, little offload, and then in the corner.
Yeah, and so we've seen more changes again as the kickoff is taken. Lovibond has returned to proceedings, and she's been a great player all weekend, but making the break this time is Greenway once more. Greenway charging towards the line. She was a menace in the first game, and she's shown great presence in the second one as well. In for the corner, reducing the deficit by a further 5 points.
Yeah, I thought she was out in her legs there at one point. Once she just crossed the 10-metre line, Spanish team were catching up with her as she veered inside and just made the two Spanish chasers change their angle a little bit, then moved back out again just to create that extra couple of metres. And as we see her come off after that tiring run, coach is replacing her. Well done. She managed to get right the way over. However, the conversion is not good, so it keeps it at 29 points to 10 for Spain. How long to go? We've got 1.5 minutes roughly. Yep, 1.5 minutes to go.
Oh, that kick-off, very good. It's gone long on Spain, not fielding it. So it trickles over the touchline. I do think they've touched it though, so it'll be British ball. Yeah, that's just the opportunity they need, isn't it, Andy?
Quite possibly. I mean, we saw something similar in one of the men's games, in the Belgium game, where it went over the top of one of the players and Lally sprung onto it, just landed up in his hands. However, this time the chase wasn't quite there to get up on the ball, and as we said, GB player had touched it, so Spanish attack as they hit up the middle, creating a bit of space on both sides.
Yeah, and good tackling in the centres there from Kieran Bell, but it's not all been done legally, so Spain with another penalty, and we have just about 30 seconds left on the clock. Spain taking the scrum, and I suspect they'll just look to get the ball off the park if they manage to retain possession from the strike.
Yeah, as you say, 30 seconds to go. I think that is exactly that they will do 2 passes and then they'll just nice casually kick the ball out into touch. No need for them to get any more points. They've won their 2 games that they needed to win. Still a lovely little break. They're maybe wanting more points.
Yeah, I think we might have underestimated their aspirations in this game. They're not happy with 29. They want to get into the 30s.
There we go. Here's the hooter. We heard the hooter there. Oh.
Did she throw that off the pitch? She did indeed. The referee's caught up to that as well. You may not throw a ball off the pitch. You can kick it off the pitch, but not deliberately throw it off. GB rearranging themselves, taking their time. This is their last attack of the game.
Yeah, they'll want to put some points on the board, you know, because Belgium are in their group as well. It was, I think they beat Belgium 1914, I think it was. So they want to stretch that amount. As we see the kick going through the kick and chase, it could just be too far this time, unfortunately. Yeah, it's gone dead. Good idea from GB there. Thought that she had enough gas to get there, but unfortunately not to be on this occasion. And we see Spain run out winners in that game, 29 points to 10. As the wind comes in through our booth here where we're sitting.
So getting ready for the second fixture after the long lunch break. It'll be Belgium. There we see their squad. Taking on Denmark. Denmark, obviously the new team on the series, gaining promotion out of the trophy series, and really bringing something to the championship. They're playing good rugby, not afraid to run the ball, not afraid to move the ball. And then Giesing and Halbech have really got a couple of future stars out there. Up against a strong and experienced Belgian side.
This should be a great match.
Yeah, both teams narrowly losing in their first games here. Spain beating Denmark 10-5 and Great Britain beating Belgium 19-14, so both 5-point deficits. All to play for in these games. Hopefully we'll see the good free-flowing Belgian team that we're used to seeing. However, Denmark have definitely got a bit more experience under their belt now, and have definitely got the bit between their teeth ready to show what they can do at this level of the championship.
Yeah, and interesting how deep the Belgians set up for that kickoff, and unable to catch it. It's found grass and left the field. I don't know if they wanted that, but they've got a line out anyway, and unfortunately not working well. It's overthrown. So Denmark with the first opportunity to attack, but they've just knocked on in the act of picking up the loose ball.
Yeah, it wasn't straightest of throws, was it? But at the same time, it went Denmark's way. However, small error just with the hands in the middle of the field, handing the ball back to Belgium, and I'm sure that we'll see this ball go down the left-hand side at some speed.
And that's exactly what happens. Goossens recycling nicely and throwing a nice pass into the running line of.
How are things in the team?
I think it's really good. I think Belgium win was important for us. We're at a risky point where we got to play well. I think we've got a new team again, but we seem to have bonded really well over the past 2 days we've been together. So we're going to come out firing tomorrow and put everything on the floor like we did against Belgium. I think we just didn't play our game against Spain. We gave them too much space and too much time, and that's what they're good at. So going into tomorrow will definitely be a better match.
How's it dealing with the heat here in Split?
It's hard. It's definitely harder than Hamburg, but we got to adapt to it. We can't use it as an excuse, so we're just going to do what we can to stay cool, and it's only 14 minutes at the end of the day.
Perfect, thanks. Have a good rest and see you tomorrow, yeah?
Thank you.
Back to the action here as we see Belgium just keeping the pressure on Denmark, moving the ball from side to side, patiently looking for the opportunity, and this looks to be it. Number 2 charging up the field, Margot Stevens, up to the 10-metre line, and they recycle well once more, back down to the left hand side. Goossens, one of the stars of Hamburg, getting the offload away as well, and once more, but that one's gone loose for Denmark, and it'll be a sprint. Who has the pace? Ndaya of Denmark taking it all the way, running the length with the gas and with the 5 points.
Yeah, she had the pace to outstrip Blondieu and Isert Bid. Really well done. As unfortunate as we saw Lisa Goossens go down that bottom corner, offloading back inside, I think it was to Guillaume, but unfortunately the next pass didn't go to hand, and Denmark were there to pick up the goods and then run 3/4 of the length of the field for a lovely little score. So Belgium not quite firing at the moment, not quite on all cylinders, needing to step up a little bit. However, Denmark have come out flying, so well played to them, especially on that score.
Yeah, I mean, Belgium weren't really doing anything wrong. They were building up a nice attack there, and then just one loose offload, and Denmark capitalised. So, an early advantage for them. It might be a bit of a wake-up call for this Belgian team with such high pedigree. Goossens getting the offload in after stepping and evading. And she's there on hand to recycle as well. The ball being swept off to the left-hand side, trying to create a one-on-one on the outside channels, but that pass just going astray.
Yeah, they're looking like they're wanting to get into the Belgium way, which tends to be playing side to side and trying to open up a gap in the opposition defence. But at the moment, that floated little last pass there was floated too much. You know, there is a bit of a wind there. I appreciate that, but the first three passes, absolutely no problem. They're just, that little last touch there is just not quite good enough for Belgium at the moment. So let's hope that they can get that out of their system and start to get back to the Belgium team that we know.
Yeah, it'd be great to see them stringing some phases together, but I'm quite excited about the prospect of an early upset in this tournament, with Denmark putting the pressure on here, turning the screw. They'll need to defend first though, with a scrum for Belgium on the 22-metre line. Pressure coming on here. Goossen struggling to regather, just taking her eye off that one. Stevens on the outside. A good strong carry just to tidy things up by Blondieu, excuse me. Good work by Belgium here, but not really able to break down the Danish defence up until this point. Again, that was Stevens or Stevens. I'm not really sure on the pronunciation. Maybe you can help me there, Andy.
Definitely Stevens, but that was Isabeth, so this is coming out to Stevens of the pass. There she is now. Margot Stevens, usually playing in the half-back role, seems to be out in the centres just now. However, Belgium are trying to get themselves into their shape again. You can see that they're getting into good shapes here, but then we're seeing the passes are just not going to hand at the moment. As we see Lisa Goossens once more making her way up that park, releasing the ball. There's Stevens now.
Now they're attacking very well here, great patience, and they're moving the ball nicely, Andy, but they're not really making much progress, are they?
No, but what they are doing, if they manage to hold on to, and they don't, I was going to say, if they manage to hold on to ball, they're spreading the Danish defence, and they're given the opportunity to open up cracks in there somewhere. But at the moment, they're doing silly little things like get tackled into touch, or just the pass not going to hand, or the pass behind the player instead of in front, which is unusual for Belgium. So it's not quite clicking for them at the moment, but take nothing away from Denmark. They're putting some good pressure on them as well. Their defence is up there. Maybe that's what it is, that the Belgian team are looking up and seeing this Danish defence, which they're not used to seeing, being quite high up and in their face, which puts a bit of pressure on, so mistakes are happening. As we hear the half-time hooter going, this will be the last scrum of the half. Belgium put in.
Yeah, props to this Danish defence. They got the early lead and they're seeing off this half with that 5-point lead if they can just go through a couple more phases. Reorganising well, scrambling to recover. Belgium forcing their way up towards and over the 10-metre line. Goossens with the long pass. Now there's a gap has just been created there with Giesing rushing out of the Danish defence. But their teammates scramble to recover, and once again Belgium just struggling to get a great return out of these phases, and that is the knock-on. Advantage Denmark, half-time.
Yeah, once again, good Danish defence, making the tackles count and making sure that Belgium don't have that continuity. So well played in that half to Denmark. I thought that their defence was excellent there. They haven't had much ball in hand at the moment. We want to see them with a bit of ball in hand, which we may well do in this second half, as we've said before, with that wind at the back. Gives the teams the opportunity to also have the kick in their back pocket as well, if they want to use that. But again, Belgium need to. I'm sure they'll be getting a team talk here from their coaches, just to tell them to cut out all these silly mistakes and let's start to get that ball in hand and make the breaks where we can.
Oh, upset maybe on the cards here in the pool stages already. The newcomers on the block. Denmark leading Belgium 5-0. It's a narrow lead, the narrowest, but it's a lead nonetheless. The huddle of the Danes looking very calm, very composed. They don't look like newcomers. They give the impression of athletes that have been around the block.
Yeah, speaking to their coaches earlier, they don't put a lot of pressure on the players. They obviously give them parameters to work around, and they want them to enjoy themselves. That's one of the big things they talked about in their last tournament, was making sure there's enjoyment, and there was music playing, there was dancing. They feel that brings out the best in their players, rather than just being very prescriptive and structured and saying do this, do that. So this might be just that relaxed atmosphere and relaxed environment might be something that other teams could look at as well. And definitely Belgium need to relax a little if they want to go on and try and win this game, as we see Goossens up there collecting that kickoff, perfectly timed.
Yeah, what a great kickoff for Belgium, and they're right back in the action here, taking control of things. A converted try would be enough to give them the lead. And they move the ball again wide right. Big deep passes, giving the winger an opportunity with space and ball in hand. And they're up to the 22 now. Swinging the ball back wide left, like Andy says, this is the kind of rugby they want to play. That ball just going slightly loose, but they're rewarded with a penalty from the high tackle, and Goossens is straight off. She won the kickoff, and she's taking control of the situation here, looking for the offload, being dragged down, but getting that stretch in over the line. So good decision making from her as well. She was tempted to throw that pass, but kept hold of it and is rewarded.
Score for Belgium.
Yeah, that was great strength from Lisa Goossens there. Absolutely powered through there, kept going, kept working the legs. What I do like though, I saw Gurney, again the number 3 for Belgium. She had an awesome tournament the last time, and she tends to drag in players and create opportunities for other players around her. And on that occasion, Lisa Goossens has benefited by driving her legs 7 metres to eventually stretch out, dot down, and bring this game level at 5 points each.
Yeah, Margot Stebbins unfortunately not able to add the extras, so like you say, Andy, we're tied up here with 1 minute 20 played of the second half. Oh, maybe the first opportunity here for Denmark. Loose pass, but well regathered under a lot of pressure. So working the short side. Oh no! Belgium bringing the aggression, bringing the heat. And Goossens, who else? She is on hand to snatch up that loose ball and get her second try of the game.
Yeah, what a tackle there though. That was some excellent work there, and Ndaya got absolutely creamed there, forcing the turnover. Easy pickings for Lisa Goossens there, just to pick that ball up and then go over for her second try to put Belgium ahead 10 points to 5.
Yeah, and they've earned themselves a narrow lead here in the fixture. It is a narrow lead because the conversion once more is unsuccessful. So only 5 points separating these two Pool C teams. A good kickoff. Not fielded by Denmark. It's been touched and then fallen over the whitewash.
Yeah, I think Ellenbach was in 2 minds there if she should go for it or not, because she got her feet in the wrong position, then she had to backtrack. That
that wind holding the ball up a little more than she thought. As Belgium get the put in and throw a lovely line out to the back this time, showing that it can be done in this wind. And once again moving it from the 15 to the far 15. It's a lovely little wrap around, securing ball.
Yeah, and Belgium just continuing to build here. They've now managed to establish themselves in the fixture, and they are taking no backward steps.
Yeah, the ball coming back, for going from side to side back to Bokonda there, and then going back to the other side once more, just spreading that Danish defence. We see Cecile Blondier just telling Goossens where to go.
Yeah, but once more going backwards with the ball in attack, thanks to this strong Danish defence. But that one handoff is all it took to release Bokonda. And Bokonda will just extend Belgium's lead with these 5 points when she grounds it, under no pressure, taking all the time she needs.
Yeah, there we go. That's the strength of Gurney there. Just absolutely smashing a handoff there, quite absolutely legally. Making the winger then come in to try and make that second tackle, and having the presence of mind just to offload to Bokonda, who went in under the post for Margot Stevens, just to slot that one over to now give Belgium a 17 points to 5 lead. This is much more like the Belgium that we know.
Yeah, fantastic play there. There wasn't a lot of space to move in, to work in. That physicality, absolutely crucial. But upset here as we see Goossens. She's limping towards the touchline. And let's hope she'll return to the action later in the day, but she's definitely going to need to take a break here, being replaced by the number 9, Lily Rose Scoriel. So a major player from Belgium leaving the park there. That kick not matching the quality of the previous ones. Could be a Danish tap in the middle. And it's not over yet. We have 2 minutes left to play. 12 points difference. If Denmark can find a quick answer, and they do look to do so. Offloading. That's gone backwards initially, then forwards off the foot, so no knock on there. Oh no. The linesman has indeed seen an infringement. It did travel forward, so I was being slightly optimistic there. Denmark losing possession, and Belgium will have scrum time.
Yeah, we can see Belgium not hurrying to get there with a minute and a half to go. They know fine what the score is at, and they know where they are on the field, so taking their time, just eat away at the clock a little bit. I still suspect that we'll see some sort of smash up the middle here, rather they're going wide this time, just to get a little bit more control. There we go into the middle, but running it out to the outside channel just to try and get round. Stevens taking it on. Nice bit of support play as well, as they see it moving wide now that they've got a little bit of space to play in. Danish defence not quite as structured as they have been, as we see Bokonda powering away an extra 5, 6, 7 metres.
Again, this patient Belgian build-up. They know they have the pace. They must keep hold of the ball, and when the opportunity arises, they will strike. Working it once more. A little hitch kick and then snapping back to the left-hand side, where they'd just come from. It was a good option, but a technical inaccuracy stops that attack.
Yeah, there was some lovely player there for the new player that came on, Scoriel. She came on, she just worked her core muscles to get that ball back before they snapped it back to this 15 metre, 5 metre channel. But however, the pass just into the 5 metre channel was just supposed to go back to Scoriel, and unfortunately was too far in front of her with too much power on it. So Danish line out, it's a good line out as they move the ball away into the wider channels once more.
Yeah, and Denmark off to the races down this left-hand side. Once more, forcing their offload slightly. It's not gone forward, but it's just put them under a little bit more pressure than needed. Struggling slightly now with the intensity of the game, and the inaccuracies are creeping in, putting boot to ball, but Maconda snaps it up, and we know how dangerous she can be. One fend, another fend, and then stepping out of the next tackle up towards the halfway line. A good contest came in at that breakdown, but Belgium upped it and getting the offload in again, and they're off with Guerney, Pauline Guerney. She created one with that fend and pass earlier, and she's got a try of her own.
Yeah, lovely try by her, running half the length of the pitch there, showing that she's got the speed as well as the power. Really well played by her, but I was a bit disappointed with Denmark there, and when Kragelund there, there was 3 players, her and 2 others. She decided to put boot to ball, but didn't seem to communicate to the other twos what were going on, and Bakunda got back there, collected the ball, and from there she drew into defenders and then offloaded to Guerney, who went, as I said, over half the length of the field. I'm sure she'll be saying it was the full length by the end of tomorrow. But well played to Belgium. We're starting to see what they're made of. However, not quite firing on all cylinders yet, Ian, I don't think.
No, not quite all cylinders, but that was more convincing second half. And the positive news is that I can see Lisa Goossens walking around quite freely. So all the best to her, and let's hope to see her back on the pitch for the next game. She's given a wave to the fans as well. So a real important player. Let's hope she can get fit again. Looking forward to the next fixture, Andy. We'll have Germany against Sweden as we continue with the pool fixtures. And we're just about to get underway, progressing with the pool stages, as I said. Pool B, Germany against Sweden. Germany winning their first game, Sweden unfortunately on the wrong side of their first fixture, losing to Poland. So Germany can secure a place in the next round of the competition if they get a win here against bottom of the pool Sweden.
Yeah, on paper this should be Germany's game, but anything can happen. We've been talking about how free-flowing Sweden are. Their passing is really good. They're starting to move the ball side to side. However, the power of Germany, and especially in Mette Zimmat, it should be too much for Sweden. However, let's see how this game goes as the kickoff comes in and Sweden collect and go forward.
Yeah, it's a lovely kickoff from Julia Brown there. Great technique, keeping her head low. And we're off with Sweden. That's Julia Brown, the kicker, making the tackle. Sweden going down the blind side, stepping out of one tackle and offloading out of the second. Keeping the momentum going nicely there. That's good continuity from the Swedes. Oh, and then the first error capitalised on by Germany's try-scoring machine, Mette Zimmat. You just can't stop her from scoring.
No. Germany takes the lead. Can I hear you, Deutschland? Yes! The result remains the same, 5-0.
So we'll go in, nothing changes from our process, in terms of our process. We'll put in the same effort. So it's just one more game for us. I know the result has some implications, but it's just one more game for us that we'll go and give our best.
We've done it in Hamburg. All the best. Maybe we'll manage it again tomorrow, yeah? Have a nice evening, recover. All the best for the girls.
So thanks for that. Danny, we're back to the action here with Sweden building an attack from deep after conceding that early try. And that's some lovely evasive running before the offload comes in. And Sweden recycling well, but the inaccuracies with these longer passes, putting them under unnecessary pressure, and they're forced to work this hard blind side once more. Now they do look to the space on the left-hand side, trying to release a speedster, but well shepherded by who I believe was Johanna Hacker. Real pressure coming in from Germany now, in and around the breakdown, trying to force an error, or at least slow down the Swedish build-up. And they put boot to ball, but Gesine Adler is sweeping nicely back there, and she will regather and set off in a charge of her own. Riding that challenge well and just getting the hands free to offload as they move the ball expertly to the left-hand side, where Sophie Hacker comes under enormous pressure, but able to twist and turn and keep the momentum going forward. So Germany will have to attack from deep here. Mette Zimmert passing to Adler, but nothing going there. The Swedish defence holding up well to that attack. Annika Novotny not able to find any space, but it's a controlled build-up, and Zimmert with Sophie Hacker on a nice little exchange, and once more back to Zimmert, who cuts inside and swerves and straightens, and with the pace she's got, she decides to send Sophie Hacker in under the post. I felt Mette Zimmert could have stretched her legs and finished it off herself, but that was lovely little interchange.
Yeah, that was well played well controlled by Germany. I've seen Mette Zimmert down there. She just took a little nudge at the end, but it shows the support play. First of all, Sophie Hacker giving that pass out to Mette Zimmert, who then made the break and gave the ball back again. I suspect we'll see her take a break here, bring someone else on, but yeah, well played by Germany there. They were a bit controlled there. It was a bit slow. They went backwards to go forwards. We talked about that before, but there's no problem with that when you do get the purchase. However, Sweden did really well, I thought, to get out of their own half and their own period, in that period of play, And some of their passing has been excellent, but it is a bit tight. I think I feel that they should go back to their game that they're starting to get good at, which is moving the ball a little wider, stretching the defence, and see what Germany can do when they do that. Because at the moment, they don't seem to have the power to go through. We've seen Julia Braun make a couple of big hits. We've seen Adler make a couple of hits as well. So let's see what Sweden can do from this kickoff.
Adler with the pressure on this instant, but Sweden comfortable under the pressure. Real hard work. You mentioned her just now, Julia Braun, Andy, working in defence. And the pressure tells. Is another error. And Annika Novotny with the score for Germany.
Yeah, again, good pressure from Germany in defence. They're pushing high, making Sweden make decisions, and they're quite flat at the moment in attack. Sweden, they need another 2 metres deeper, maybe even 3 metres if they want to really move that ball. But I really like the way that Sarah Gossman there, who's come in for the injured Paula Schutz, I really like the way she got her hands free over the top of the player. She's a tall player anyway, and then managed to free the ball off to Novotny, who went in for the walkover at the end of it.
Yeah, and unfortunately Julia Braun just leaning back a little bit, not quite getting her body weight right on that kick, so it slides past the right upright. And the lead stays 15 points to 0. Julia Brown to kick. Again, scuffing that one slightly, but it's not worked out too badly. Straight in the hands of Maya Muller. And an opportunity to Jackal in the middle of the pitch. And it's a successful attempt from Germany, so they tap and go from the penalty. Gossman, you just mentioned her, Andy. She is a big woman, a strong woman, and she strides and drives over the line. She was looking to get those hands free, looking for that offload. That just distracted a couple of defenders.
Yeah, lovely play originally from Adler there to get in there and get that ball freed up to give the pass to Gossman, who once again, with her height there and her power, hands above the head there, just looking to get the offloads in where she can. So again, good play by Germany as a whole, working together, which is good to see. And unfortunately the kick from Julia Brown hasn't quite got the right direction as we go into half time. It will be 22-0 to Germany.
Yeah, and what a first half of rugby. Germany's capitalising on errors very well, creating a few opportunities of their own, and in a commanding position here, 22-0. They will look to top their group and progress after an impressive tournament that they had in Hamburg.
Yeah, we have to be fair to Germany there. I think they've actually created a lot of their chances as well with the high press and their speed, especially when Sweden are in their own 22 and maybe 10 metres out. They've really put a high press on. They've really forced the errors out of Sweden. And at times, obviously, Sweden have made a couple of mistakes themselves, but they will hope to come out in the second half with a little bit more depth so they can run onto some ball, because they do have some speed there. You mentioned Maya Muller once more. She's a fantastic player. If we can get her on the ball a little bit more, that'll create some opportunities for them. And then you have the likes of Schwartz there as well. She's got a little bit of speed.
And don't forget the Wikström sisters, who were an absolute terror for their opposition in the first game, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You've got the two of them. If they have the two of them on the park together, then that would certainly bolster their opportunities. But there's no real weak links there. I think it's just experience of playing at this level and starting to really understand where they need to be if they want to progress further. Again, every game is a bit of an experience for them, and they need to take something from each game. And on this one, they need to pull something out of the bag, get themselves an early score if they can. I can't see them coming back and beating Germany. I can't see them scoring more than 2, maybe 3 tries at a push, but that should be their goal, is to get forward and also hold their defence, make sure their defence is in a good shape when they're playing against one of the sort of top teams.
Yeah, and Germany have made a change on the wing. Johanna Hacker leaving the field, and I think we see Hennig take to the field, so she's got real pace on the outside channel. I wonder if that's tactical or just managing the load. So anyway, here we come through Sophie Hacker, the sister of the replaced player. Hennig. We just spoke about her pace. To Julia Brown. She switches the direction of attack once more. Novotny stepping out of one and running into a strong challenge, but getting the ball down, getting her knee to ground. Gossman again gets the hands free to Hennig. Lovely little offload that she drops into her path. She gets her hands free and pulls out a textbook offload as well. And is that Sophie Feller? It's certainly going to be a try for Germany. They've been held up. Brown, little short pass, it didn't work out, and Sweden regather. So I was a little bit hasty there. I was assuming Sophie Feller was going to sprint in for the try, and Sweden showing their resilience in defence once more, coming up with the ball. Oh, the hard work from Germany this time is rewarded, so it was a delay. They lost the ball for a couple of phases only. Novotny steals the ball, moves it on to Julia Brown, and she gets the try.
Yeah, you were a little preemptive there, and some great chase back from Sweden. That's what we want to see, and they chased Sophie Feller right the way back, tackling her 1-2 metres out. And then we saw their whole defence get back there, but unfortunately the ball came spilling back out on the Germany side, and eventually went to the middle for Novotny to give that offloading pass to Julia Brown for a score. But great break down the wing from Hennig to start with, followed by the pass to Fella. Great support work. It's more like the Germany that we wanted to see.
The conversion goes in off the post, so it's a 29 points to 0 lead, and Germany with a good kick once more and able to pressurise the catching player, not allowing her to make any meters off that one. And Sweden sweep the ball to the left hand side, looking to get some more width into this game. Once more, slight inaccuracy, making life difficult, but they do get the break, feeding off the chaos and charging towards. She's being chased down by Hennig. This is a real race to the try line here. Hennig starting to slow, losing the pace, and holding on for the try, Isabel Wikström. We spoke about the Wikström sisters. They are a threat even in the most difficult of situations, Andy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from the Sweden 5 metre line, Germany having the ball to a good turnover for Sweden, and basically Wikström doing it all herself. Isabel, that is, just breaking away through 2 missed tackles there. Good chase back by Hennig there, but unfortunately Wikström had enough speed to get down there, and there's one of the tries that I said that Sweden would score.
Yeah, and it was her sister attempting to add the extras. It's not. She's been unfortunate this time. Maybe the ball drop didn't quite go right. But Sweden showing their quality.
Yeah, we've said it. They've got the opportunities there. You know, they've got good individual players. They're just not quite fully gelling as a team yet. But that's just showing that it's not just the Maya Mullers there that are their star players. They do have some other stars in their team that have got the ability. As we see Germany tidy up that scrappy kick there, hopefully to get set and start moving this ball out wide again.
Yeah, they just mistimed their lift and jump there a little bit, but tidied up very well. Laura Schwinn on the scissors play. Coming back nicely, bringing Julia Brown, who steps, opens up the rest of the pitch once more. Hennig with a little hitch kick, swinging it out to Adler. Adler stepping inside, and just trying to throw that wonder offload, which just doesn't work out. Sweden regain possession. And Julia Brown working hard off the ball to win it back for Germany with this penalty. Wasn't that great work, Andy?
I mean, it was good work. I mean, Julia Brown, they're really, really good there. I was disappointed that Adler never gave the pass out wide. I think it was Gossman there. I would have loved to have seen that pass, but she didn't look like she was going to do anything other than just run straight, thinking that she can outstrip these Swedish players. And on that occasion, she's got her hands tied up and it got knocked out. But yeah, great work by Julia Brown on the turnover there, just to get in there, 2 hands on the ball, show a clean picture to the referee, who has now given Germany the scrum to attack from.
I hope Julia Brown's wearing a GPS, because I'd love to see her stats on this game. She is working so hard on both sides of the ball. There she is once more throwing the inside pass. Fortunately not going to hand this time. But like I said, Julia Brown, what a work rate.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the inside pass there. Looking, she's running away. It's a very difficult skill to get right. Just running away from the player with the inside player running towards you. It has to be a harder pass than that. They're in a position where they're 29 points to 5 up, and they can try these things, so it's not a problem. But I think in a tighter game with 1 score in it, if the coaches saw you do that, I think they'd be pretty disappointed. However, you've got to try these things under pressure to see if they can work, as we see a scrum here for Sweden just outside their own 22. I'd love to see them have a run here. Love to see them go the full length of the field and make Germany work for their money.
Yeah, we'll see the scrum being reset here. Referee not happy with proceedings, so scrum reset, and like Andy just said, it'd be great to see Sweden mount a meaningful attack. They look for the outside player running on its speed. You can see the idea, but once more the execution just not there for Sweden, and that'll frustrate them They might not be able to get back into this game and win it, but they still really wanted that.
Yeah, Hamfeld there was probably a bit disappointed. She couldn't quite free her hands away from her body and just tried to pass from her body without any extension of the arms. But they got in a good position. They got some good speed as we see the break from Malatier. Lovely little wrap around, hitting to the outside channels. That's Sophie Feller, I think. Back into Malatier. And she's over. She comes on the field. Scores a try. Big smile on the face. Lovely little wrap around and lovely play from her.
Yeah, terrific play. And we've seen Germany ring changes throughout this game. They're using the full depth of their squad to great effect and just dominating the opponent in this fixture. I mentioned it before, with this win, they will top the group with one game left to be played. They'll have a face-off against Poland to complete their story in the group stages. And that's what we look forward to seeing now, Andy. Poland will be retaking the pitch up against Portugal.
Yeah, well-deserved win for Germany. I think they were by far the better team there. They looked more like a team than the first game even, and they played, I thought, quite well in the first game as well. So Sweden, a lot to learn. Great to see them get that little try in there. Lots to work on, but as we said, new players to the championship, so they'll take a lot from that. They've got one more game to play. They'll be playing Portugal later tomorrow, I believe. But as you say, coming up next, Poland against Portugal. We'll be with that game in just a couple of moments.
Yeah, Poland against Portugal. What an exciting prospect we have. Poland, I've said it before, they are stacked with 7 superstars. And here we see the Portuguese squad. Watch out for them. Talent all over the place this weekend. It is the European Championships. We are in Split, Croatia, and this is the second leg where we will see in the men's and women's tournaments the victorious teams being crowned European champions. All that to look forward to, with the finals being played on Sunday. Today we have the first rounds of group games.
Pitch. Poland and Portugal.
And the teams take to the field. Portugal in their green kit, playing from right to left. Poland in their solid red, playing from left to right. I mentioned the superstar status of some of these Polish women. Watch out for Druzgala, who is a try-scoring machine. Sajluch, exactly the same situation there. She is a danger woman with ball in hand. Klichowska started the tournament in fine fettle as well. Pamieta, Krysiak, the names just trip off the tongue, and they are all superstars. Maria Latos You could call her a superstar of the refereeing world as well. And she gets things underway with a blow on the whistle, and Poland with a good kick, well fielded by Klichowska. A wee fumble in the contact will give Portugal a foot in the door in this fixture and an early opportunity to build an attack from this scrum. Absolutely fantastic atmosphere here at the moment, Andy. We're seeing the teams that aren't actively playing, they're just taking to the stands, enjoying a bit of shade on the non-televised side, and they're soaking up the action, enjoying themselves, and that's just lovely to see.
Yeah, there's also a massive ice bath next to us as well, and we're seeing some of the teams that have finished for the day. They've got in there, having a bit of splash around, rehydration, just getting ready for their days tomorrow. As you said, atmosphere's good, it's just starting to build. Day 2 is always a little bit better, and then day 3, the finals, is a great day. So there's still plenty of rugby to play today. But as you say, great to see the players supporting each other, staying and hanging around to watch what their competition looks like, but also to support each other as well.
Yeah, and Poland, are off here and charging down the middle, attempting a little wrap around, but that ball spilled, and Portugal now on the attack. And once again we see a player with some tape on her face. I think that must be the same woman who broke her nose in Hamburg. My memory isn't the best, so I can't remember who that was. But if you see some funny facial attire, that is the reason. It's a broken nose that's covering up, not a fashion statement. And Portugal keeping the ball, looking for a gap on the outside. That's Mota Marquez. Mota Marquez scoring a good few tries in Hamburg. We know all about her threat. And charging into the contact. Portugal progressing up the field nicely towards the Polish 10-metre line and over it. As the attempt for the jackal comes in, unsuccessfully, Mota Marquez moves the ball on nicely and clears that ruck. But the contest was successful. Is that Tajluch? It is indeed. She can do it all. And I've jinxed her. She really can do it all. She can even knock it on.
Yeah, possibly just trying a little bit too hard there. I think probably needed just to calm down after a period of sustained pressure there, but just tried to get the little offload in, and unfortunately it looked as if the arm just got knocked by the contact there from Portugal. So good defence, Portugal chasing back, not doing anything silly, not forcing the mistake as such by hitting the ball or anything like that, but just catching an arm. And on that occasion, Zeisluch could not get the two-handed pass away to her colleague.
Yeah, and Portugal once again must build, this time from much deeper. They're on their own 10-metre line this time. But both teams struggling to really get any possession in the 22 of the opposition team and come away with points. The game remains tied on 0-0 after 3.5 minutes played, but this might be the opening score. Oh, and it's a penalty to Portugal. There's no release there. Maria Lato's quite clear with the signals.
Yeah, that was one of your favourite players from Portugal there, Da Costa, just going down the line, just bashing people out of the way. Unfortunately, on this occasion she did get tackled, hit the ground, didn't release the ball once she was on the ground, just hit the ground and got back up again. But we could quite clearly see that the Polish player had her arms wrapped around her, so penalty to Poland it was, and they have opted for the scrum to attack from deep inside their own half.
Indeed they do, and carrying the ball in one hand back into two and passing into the gap and keeping it moving nicely to the players running on with speed. Zeisluch on the outside with a little hitch kick and putting on the afterburners, but not quite getting round the defender on this occasion. Poland recycling and getting caught up in the middle of the field. Just slowing it down a little bit, looking for a gap, and they find one, bursting through it, offloading. And that's just dribbled forward on the ground. How unfortunate.
Lovely presence of mind from Pamieta there, though. She just looked around. She looked as if she was stopping, confused the Portuguese defence there for a moment, and then just put the afterburners on, went through the gap. But unfortunately, just a little knock on there on the ground, and little turnover. Portugal ball, again in a good position outside their 22. Players on either side. Long way to go, but there's definitely an opportunity here.
Yeah, big opportunity. Portugal, however, with the penalty, and they're off to the races, putting the kick in and behind and backing their pace. Shoulder on shoulder, nothing wrong with that. So Poland live to fight another day, and it's still tied at 0-0. We've got just a minute left to play. Oh, and a lovely little bit of footwork there, once more. On the pass, keeping the ball alive. Kujawska gets the ball free. And they are streaking away, Poland, with all the patience in the world. They've had to wait over 6 minutes for the first try of the game. And they finally do get there through number 10, Druzgala. We called her out. She's a try-scoring machine.
Yeah, it's a great finish off from Druzgala there. But let's take it back to the defensive effort there from Zawadzka when she chased back that kick through from Portugal. She was having none of it. She dived on the ball. Her teammates got back, and I don't know if you noticed, Ian, but within 4 seconds the whole of the Polish team were behind that ball ready to attack. And fair play to Portugal. They were up there as well in defence, but just couldn't quite get there, get their structure in place to stop Druzgala going almost the length of the field there, or certainly from her own 22 right the way down for a great score.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think the try scorers always get the plaudits, don't they, Andy? But it's all about that work rate off the ball, and that's been rewarded on this occasion.
Yeah, I'm sure when you watch it back, you see Zaisluch as well. Just she was running through in support for Druzgala. I know she's a kicker and she wants to be up there, but again, it was the fact that she had presence of mind to go and support her player, even though she could see that she was going to go the whole way. So good work for the whole Polish team there.
So this will be the last action of the first half, and Poland will look to take that 5-point lead into the break. With Portugal in possession, Da Costa hitting it up.
The ball is there, leave it.
Again, you just see the player having to stretch to catch that ball, and that can... we're talking about centimetres, but that can take the momentum out of the whole attack. And we do see that happening, and there's an error. And that's the difference between some of these mid-table teams and the real top teams here in the series. Is just the accuracy, the millimetres, the centimetres that make the big difference.
Yeah, that comes with experience, it comes with practice, it comes with playing together as well. So that will come in time for a lot of these teams, and we can see the ones that have played together a little bit more. And they're making those passes count, they're making those millimetres count, so that will come. But going back to the Portuguese team there, and one of the strengths that they have are the likes of Da Costa, who has got power, and at the moment she's not really running onto the ball at power. She's very much the first pass out. I'd like to see her not in the first receiver role, but at second receiver role, which will force Poland to put 2 defenders on her, and they'll have to chop her legs, they'll have to hit her hard, and that takes 2 players to do that. And if they've got 2 players on one, it means there's an overlap somewhere. And I would really like them to see if they can push her into that second receiver, or they can push her out wide again, because quite often in the last tournament and the tournament before that, we saw her on the wing, and she was destructive on that wing because she's got speed as well. But if you're out in that wing, you really have to drag 2 defenders over to the side, and there's no way they're getting back to the other side to defend, so that opens up space on the far side. So something to work on there possibly for Portugal. In terms of Poland are playing well. We just saw Pamieta there again, just flying up on a tackle. They're going all guns blazing on this one. They're looking to stop these Portuguese from attacking, which we know if they do get the opportunity to attack, then they are dangerous. So this is going to be a cracking second half, and although it's only 5-0, it feels like there's been a lot more points than that scored in this game.
Yeah, the players take the field again, or resume their positions rather. They've never left the field. Poland will kick off, playing from right to left in the second half. As you say, Andy, it's only a 5-point lead. It feels like it doesn't feel like a one-try game, but it is. So we are back underway. A lovely high kick-off. Da Costa being challenged under that one. And it runs loose. Mota Marquez tidies up. Costa. Good little offload. And it's a penalty for Portugal. Da Costa moving it on to Costa. And it just falls and goes loose, and Poland scampering off, capitalising on the error through Pazdzic. And that's the second try of the game, doubling their advantage over the Portuguese.
Yeah, that was just a poacher's try, wasn't it? She was just hanging around in the backfield, and Portugal had done a great job with moving the ball, but then unfortunately threw a loose ball in open play, and Pazdzic was just there to receive that like a gift on a birthday.
Birthday, Christmas. Birthday and Christmas all at once.
Yeah, Portugal, they're just a little bit tight as well. I think they wanted to get the ball out of that middle area, just move it into the slightly wider channels. Let's see if they can do that on this next phase of play.
It's another fantastic kick. Almost millimetre perfect, and a great contest coming in, but Mota Marquez, she's the big tall player for Portugal. Not just a try scoring threat, but also plucking the ball out of the air. Feel Portugal do just have a little bit of their backs against the wall here. They've been dragged into a tough little position here, and Poland can really suck the life out of an opponent when they get to this kind of position of a game. Once again, Portugal looking for the kick option. That's Grubber has just rolled on the camber of the pitch into touch.
Yeah, Dos Santos there never looked like it was a kick for herself. It did look like it was a kick down to touch. She just looks a bit tired there, I have to say, but it's actually not a bad kick. It puts Poland under a bit of pressure in their own 22, or just on the 22. But I would like to have seen her kick for herself and then chase, but I think the wind is out of her sails a little bit. They're starting to get tired.
Well, as you say that, they don't look tired in the line out. They get up and put on great pressure there. Looking for the jackal again is Da Costa, but that's not legal. So it will be a penalty to Poland. Moving away here nicely. Stepping and fending, and unfortunately coughing it up there. Quick blow in the whistle, no advantage being played, so Portuguese scrum. We've got 4.5 minutes left to play in the second half. Only 10 points separating the two teams. So despite all the Polish pressure, Portugal very much still in this fixture. As we see Da Costa just getting some brief treatment. She will play on. And the scrum holding strong, creating the platform for the next attacking sequence. An offside, another penalty from the Polish as they come under pressure, being forced to defend deep in their own half.
Yeah, Drskala just hanging around there in the offside possession. Referee could see that quite clearly. It's right in front of her. Felt that she should have just got out of the way, because her team was in a very good defensive position. Now she's putting them under pressure here, because it'll be a scrum in the middle, giving Portugal the option of both sides to attack from. And this little scrum half, she's got some pace. I'm interested to see. I would think that she's going to break down the right side.
Time will tell. They go down the left.
Ooh.
Marta Marquez, both ball in hand. We know how dangerous she can be. The Polish piling into that breakdown, doing everything within their powers to compete, and they come up with a penalty. Portugal not releasing, and we see changes for both teams here. For Portugal, it's the number 14, Santos, and for Poland, the number 5, Morris, who take the field.
Yeah, we're seeing that from a lot of the teams, getting through their benches, giving everyone a bit of game time, but also giving some of their players a bit of rest as well. Day one, everyone gets a bit of game time, get used to what the temperature's like, how the feeling is out there, and give everyone enough rest there as well to get ready for day 2.
Absolutely, and it's not just tomorrow, it's the finals day, it's a 3-day tournament we have here, and once more, Poland streaking away through Sajliuc. Penalty to Portugal. So maybe just getting a little bit isolated on that occasion.
Yeah, good defence though. I mean, Sajliuc, she's no slouch. She's got a bit of speed about her, but she's definitely tired, as we're just talking about making changes. However, she'll not want to go off when the game's still quite tight at the moment. Give her another minute and they might make that change. But good chase back that time from Portugal. You know, they're working hard. They're still in this game. They're still wanting to get the ball in hand. There's just under 3 minutes to go in this game. That's plenty of time for 2, possibly even 3 scores in the game. As we see a scrum right in front of us here, in a position where they can open up the field, get it out into the wide channels, and have a real go at Poland.
And it's a penalty, Portuguese ball from that scrum. Santos preparing to feed. So they won a penalty from the last scrum and just chose to do the same thing again.
Yeah, in the scrum you just saw Klitschkowska just driving upwards, which is why the penalty was given. She didn't drive straight, she drove upwards, and this time not so much. Not being silly and doing that again, or it could possibly a yellow card, as we see Portugal on the attack here. Some real speed out wide.
Yeah, that's Castanheira Ferreira with the break. And another penalty for Portugal. So these penalties starting to mount now for Poland. They need to be a little bit careful. Some of them were in the opposition half, so that might play to their advantage. But if this was all happening in their own half, you might be seeing a yellow card come in at some point.
Exactly that. I think if I was the Portuguese captain, I'd be having a little word in Maria Latos's ear. Just, how many penalties is that? How many penalties is that, referee? Is it time? Is it time now? They're not all in positions close to the line or anything like that, so they might be lucky. However, just takes one in a bit of a attacking or defensive position, and it could be yellow card, as we see Portugal setting off again.
Yeah, indeed, they are setting off again. Recycling nicely as well, and this is a good opportunity, maybe the best of the game so far. And they go through the middle. That is Marta Marquez. She's had a good influence on this game, and she rewards her team with the first 5 points of the fixture. We've got 1.5 minutes left on the clock, so they'll need to speed things up if they want to draw level with Poland.
Yeah, we've seen Ines Marta Marquez be the saviour of Portugal on a number of occasions, and on this occasion it's no different. You saw a clean pair of heels, just there's a little gap to go through. Just as Poland had taken off a couple of their players, Sajliuc being one of them. I didn't see who the second one was, but it was definitely possibly caused a little confusion in the defence, as we see the kick not go over. So if they do get another try, they'll definitely need to convert it. But well played from Ines Marta Marquez. Now it's time to try and win this ball back from the kick-off. It's got to be a good one.
Yeah, it really does, Andy. Not much time left in the clock after the conversion. It's now down to 6:30. So only half a minute. Oh, and that kick going the full length. Dead in goal. That means we go all the way back to the middle of the pitch, where Poland will have possession and be able to see out this game with just one pass. If they want to, they can tap and just kick it off even. One pass and kick. Job well done.
Yep, job done for Poland, and that's the end of the day. They wanted a win. That was the most important thing. Never mind the actual score. But I think they were deserved winners in the end, although they weren't as powerful as we thought they might be. However, that could quite easily be because Portugal were very good and combated a lot of their attack in there. So more to come from those two teams. It's an interesting group, that one. I'm sure we'll be hearing more about that on day 2 as we get ready for Ireland v Turkey. Both teams running out, getting ready to take to the field.
Yeah, the Ireland looking much improved in comparison to leg 1. They've got some real dangerous women in that squad. Watch out for Amy Larn, watch out for Robin O'Connor, Eve Higgins, to name just a few. We're underway here, just waiting for the pictures on the screen. Ireland building from deep and making the first break, and they're sprinting off. I think that is Amy Larn. No? Andy, do you have a number for me?
Yeah, that's Amy Larn going through. Lovely little break from her. Great bit of speed. Going straight away. It's a 60 metre, 70 metre run from her. As you mentioned her, she's got some pace, she's got some power. The gap just opened up from the Turkish defence there. She went straight through, making the dot down under the post and making it nice and simple, hopefully for Eve Higgins, the kicker, just to slot the 2 points over. Which she does, taking it to 7 points to 0.
Yeah, and I do think Turkey will struggle in this fixture. These Irish are just athletically a little bit ahead. But don't want to put it down here. It is live sport. Anything can happen. Ireland get us back underway with a lovely, well-judged kick that unfortunately just evades the jumping Corrigan.
Yeah, but Turkey go quickly. They're not wanting to hang around. Making that ball, moving it into the middle, nice and quickly. It was Bolat again, one of the players we always talk about from that Turkish team. I'm not sure it was the best idea at that occasion, but they've done it anyway, and they're not being shy. They're wanting to have a go.
Oh, that was Bolat, who praised her so much, and that wasn't her finest action. And gives Ireland again just an easy ball. And they're up to the 5, moving towards the middle of the field and getting the try through Robin O'Connor. Yeah, so pretty much a perfect start for this fixture, isn't it, Andy, for Ireland? That's exactly what they'd be looking for. They'll want to build some points maybe in this game.
Absolutely. This is... I don't want to be unfair to Turkey, but they're very much the underdogs in this. Ireland will be looking to put some points on them after a good win against Czechia, I think it was, in the first game. The 33 points I think they put on them. They'll be looking to put a few more onto this Turkish team. They've definitely got the experience, the power and the pace, so they should come out on top. But unfortunately, that try did come from Turkey trying something, which maybe that is what they need to do, is try things, but they've really got to go and make sure they go for it rather than just do it half-heartedly as the kickoff goes a little bit longer into the hands of Bolat once more.
Yeah, I can't help but feel, Andy, that Turkey need to let go of this strategy of kicking under pressure. They need to try and run it out of these difficult positions, as intimidating as it may be. And Ireland forcing again an error from Turkey before they gather the ball. And now they're rewarded with a wee scrum from referee Maria Latos.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying there, Ian. I think they do need to have a little run. There's no problem with them going wide and then kicking if they feel that they've pulled the Irish defence up. But kicking too early is not going to be good enough for them. There's an occasion there, as we just saw, that they were just a bit too flat and one defender almost covered two players, which is where the mistake came from. And that's just handed the ball back to Ireland, giving them a good platform. However, they've managed to steal the ball.
Yeah, charging away. Charging away with real speed there is Turkey. Oh, and they just get grouped up in a little bunch and honeypotting around the ball there and just getting in each other's ways, and it's the next unforced error. You could see what they're trying to do there. They made the line break, Andy, and they were trying to rush and support their teammate, and they just all got in each other's ways.
Yeah, it was a lovely break from Fesley there. She just went up the outside, but as you say, they kind of got caught up a little bit, and they seemed to honeypot, go round the ball rather than spread out and get their depth and be in positions where they can receive the ball a little bit wider and create some space to try and break this Irish defence as we see them attacking there, and that's Eve Higgins smashing up the middle once more.
I thought that offload to set her free there was absolutely exquisite. And they just keep the pressure going on Turkey. Bolat almost getting her hands on that ball, but just not quite able to dominate in the contact. And there we go, Andy. That's it. The third try for Ireland through Katie Corrigan. And job for the first half almost done.
Yeah, as you said, it was a lovely little offload to Higgins there to go through that gap. What I did like from Turkey, though, was the chase back in defence. So the tackle came in, and we saw that the second player from Turkey was there, but unfortunately got bowled over, so she couldn't quite get her hands onto that ball. So it's good speed from Ireland to go in there and secure the ball, and then the ball pops out and goes into the hands of Corrigan, who went in for quite an easy little dot down under the post again for, once again, Higgins to convert to get another 2 points.
There we see the try through the replay. Fantastic stuff from Ireland. Conversion is on the money. 21 points now, the lead. France came out of the game against Turkey with 41 points. And I do feel that Ireland may want to top that. As we see Turkey building from deep. Dilmatch, she's got real pace. Not able to evade the attention of Uguero.
Yeah, however, they are moving it now, and there we go. They've moved it back into position where they get a good kick in and a good chase. That's good defence from Ireland. Off the pop comes out again. Now they're spreading the Irish a little wider, which is good, and then giving them the opportunity for the kick if they want to use it, which means that all the Irish defence, they're not playing with a sweeper, so all the Irish defence are up. It's just their winger that tends to sweep in behind, so kicking to the outside is not a bad option, especially when you've got people like Dilmatch and Bolat with some speed and Fesley. They can really latch onto that ball if they get the opportunity and the bounce goes right for them.
Yeah, absolutely. We did, like you say, Andy, we spoke about that kicking tactic, and that was them using it as a tactic and not just as a panic solution. So much better from Turkey.
And also they moved the ball really well in that sort of first phase as well, and here we see them scrapping a little bit. This is the Turkey that we saw previously, that they're there to make a nuisance of themselves and then hopefully live on some of the scraps that occur from the mistakes that get made from the opposition.
Yeah, they do quite like it when it gets scrappy, don't they? But Ireland doing well just to keep the structure in the game. And it's the next break Oviawa. Larn. She opened the scoring in this half. And Ireland clearly wanting points, so they would have put the ball off the pitch already because time is up in the first half, but they won't stop playing. What a fend! Sit down, please. I'm going towards the try line, and off she goes. Uguero for Ireland. What a terrific score.
Well, I tell you what, Ian, if I'm in the buffet later on and she's in front of me, I'm certainly not pushing in front of her. What a fend. Just absolutely smashed the Turkish defender to the ground, followed by the power and the leg drive to get away from the second defender and run 45 metres to go over for a lovely score. Well played on that occasion. Chisholm Uguera.
Yeah, it's quite a mouthful, isn't it? But you'd better get it right, Andy, because you don't want to upset her. Anyway, we go into the break. Ireland leading Turkey 26 points to 0. And they have got their campaign off to a terrific start today, winning 33 points to 5 earlier and taking a strong lead in this one. Turkey feeling a little bit frustrated maybe. They've been working very hard for very little return. But they must just keep building, trusting their systems, sticking to what they're good at. Just gonna put out a wee shout out to our mate, the intern from Hamburg. We were calling him the intern. He is not an intern at all. He's an expert player and almost getting capped for Germany this year. Robert Amelon. We miss you too, my friend. We miss you too.
Yeah, two of us commentating this time. Unfortunately, Robbie couldn't be with us. He did a cracking job in Hamburg. Hopefully next year he'll be back to join us and make some expert comments like he always does. As we see the teams getting ready for the second half of this game, which at the moment seems to be that Ireland are running away with it at 26 points to 0. However, Turkey have the win behind them this time, and maybe, just maybe, we'll see that traditional kick and chase that they like to do, and they've definitely got the pace to get there, so Ireland will have to be on their toes.
They will indeed, but I really rate the professional attitude of the Irish squad. They're really focused on everything they do. They don't get too ahead of themselves when they have success, and they don't let themselves get too beaten up when they slip up. So a real resilient team with a great mentality here, these Irish women. And I'm backing them to get the job done today. They'll have to battle it out with France tomorrow to see who tops the group and gets pole position going into the quarter-finals, but this Irish team is going places. And the kick goes long, forcing Turkey to run from their own 22. A challenge they will not shy away from. But Ireland again contesting hotly at the breakdown and coming up with the ball. And this will give them their first opportunity of the second half. They break one tackle, drag down. But they're back into the action. Very good work rate off the ball here from the Irish players, and Higgins was just running that crash line. Got the ball a little bit above her head, so had to stop and distribute instead. Evie Higgins cleaning that ruck, and we go back to the penalty. Ireland tap and head straight towards the line, bundling over. I think that was McInerney.
Get another try for Ireland. Corrigan. Another one.
You say Corrigan, Andy? Did I? It was an 11, not a 1. Haha.
Yeah, Katie Corrigan there, I think it was, that scored that one. She had a bulldozing run just a couple of moments before that, which is where the penalty came from, where Turkey didn't get back on side quick enough. Probably quite lucky to get away with no yellow card on that occasion, but I think if we hadn't seen Katie Corrigan tap and go over, there could have been a little yellow card in there. The Turkish player just getting in the way of the tap and go, not deliberately. Always say that most of the time rugby players is deliberate, they just try and look innocent, but good score for Katie Corrigan as we go back to the kick-off.
I suspect you're speaking from experience there, Andy, with the whole looking innocent thing.
Oh no, Ian, not me. No, I was a scrum half. I would never do anything wrong.
What do you mean you were a scrum half? You still are, my friend. You still are. And Ireland off. Big strong run, powering towards the line. This time it is McInerney. Bundling over the try line, dotting it down, wasting no time in extending the lead. Ireland already exceeding the points scored in the first game. And on the way to a tournament record.
Yeah, that was a lovely driving run there from McInerney. Just picked him, off she went, just decided that's the line, this is my points, I'm going for it, head down and drive over. So well played to her, just not allowing Turkey to settle whatsoever. They're just punishing them here at the moment, and I don't think that Ireland are finished yet.
Doesn't feel like it with 3 minutes played of the second half, 4 minutes left to be played in this fixture, and Ireland showing no signs of slowing down and taking the foot off the gas. Why would they, with everything to be played for here in Split? Turkey field once more. Bolat releasing a speedster on the outside, and Turkey with their first opportunity to get points, but the chase is coming in from Ireland. Oh, what a fantastic textbook covering tackle, taking both the legs from behind, and Turkey disappointed once more. Ireland come up with the ball. No advantage being played as there was a second knock on in that exchange. Ireland will scrum down 10 metres in front of their own try line.
Well, that's what we like to see. Even though you're 38 points to 0 up, you're chasing everything. You're not wanting any scores against your team. That's fantastic work to get back there, make the tackle, get back to your feet, stop the player picking and going again, and forcing a little knock on there to receive the ball back and giving your team the opportunity to either clear your lines here or to attack once more.
Yeah, indeed, and they go down that short blind side. Just looking to relieve the pressure slightly, but Turkey pick their pockets and come away with the ball, driving towards the line, stretching, rolling, and dotting it down. It'll be interesting to see if her feet were in touch, if it was a double movement. There was a couple of things that could be wrong here, but the referee says it is all A-OK. The try will stand, so Turkey getting off the board here as well with their first 5 points.
Yeah, lovely little play by Fesley there. So she was the one that made the initial break, and then through the one-handed hook pass over the top. I'm not sure who actually got the try.
It was a try for Turkey. 38-5.
Hopefully on the replay we can see who it was, but however, it was a lovely little offload, as I say, by Fesley, over the top, into the hands, and a little drive over to put some points on the board for Turkey.
Yeah, that's encouraging stuff. We don't like to see a whitewash here. We want competitive games, and it might not really be that, but great to see Turkey getting points on the board. They are here to compete, so they'll be disappointed with the way the games got away from them this time. As we just see some changes being made for Turkey, we see number 2, Alagoz, taken to the field. Ireland, number 6, Baker. And there was another change in there. Andy, did you catch it? I'm just trying to keep up here, but I missed one of the Irish substitutions, I'm sure.
Yeah, sorry about that. No, we couldn't quite see the stands just in our way, but I'm sure we'll find out in a moment as Ireland receive this kick-off and launch yet another attack from their own 22.
Yeah, again, as we know from Ireland, doing the simple things well. I spoke about their mentality before. These players trained in that aspect as well. And powering out of their own 22. Pushing upfield nicely. Swerving inside with a big fend. That's Burns, Megan Burns, streaking towards the line. Sorry, I got the wrong number. It's Kathy Baker. It's a 6, not an 8. Kathy Baker, take a bow. What a try.
Kathy Baker, Ireland's number
Yeah, some great pace there from Kathy Baker, just to stride away from her opposite number there, just driving her legs from the halfway line, pushing right the way through to get a lovely score down. Not an easy kick here for Claire Gorman, but hopefully she can slot this one over as we hear the full-time hooter going. But unfortunately, not quite over. And that's the game finished. 43 points to Ireland, Turkey 5. I think we can clearly say that Ireland were the better team there. Turkey with a bit to work on, and great that they got the score. Just one on the board, but there were some good things in there for them. However, they've come up against a very strong Irish team that will be competing at the top end of the table in this tournament.
Yeah, indeed they will be. So they've got a 33-5 victory in their first game, and now a 43-5. So they really are looking good. We'll continue the action with a Group A fixture between France and Czechia. Back for that in just a second.
Free game for Ireland and Turkey. Give best.
Here we see the squad of Czechia. You'll be getting bored of me saying these names, but Riga Tova, Aneska Marta Sladkova, Lucia Knutson, the captain. Some great names in that team. Some dangerous women on both sides of the ball, in defence and in attack. They'll be looking to turn the screw on France and maybe cause an upset, and I say that deliberately. It would be an upset because France are hot favourites. They might have come with a slightly changed squad. They don't have Hawa Tonkara, who was named player of the tournament in Hamburg. They have mixed it up a little bit, but if there's a nation that has depth, then it is France. They can afford to bring the changes. And the teams take to the field. France in their classic dark blue, playing Czechia in their red with dark blue shorts. Just watching the Irish players after that victory, they've got big smiles in their faces down here, Andy, so good to see they can enjoy themselves.
Yeah, well, you should be smiling. That was an awesome performance there. I think they were, again, by far the best team. And it'll be an interesting game to see them against France tomorrow. That's going to be a good matchup. That's going to be one to probably decide who's going to be top of the table and who goes in as second place. But let's concentrate now on this France game. France with, as we said before, an awesome team. Let's see what Zizi can do this time. She's got some speed with the red hairband in there. She's got the power and the speed to go down those wings and score a couple of tries, and looks like she's going to be the one that takes it from the kick-off, but lost in the bright light.
France recycling well, moving the ball into the midfield. It'll look play, and the crash is just mistimed. So Czechia with the first opportunity and breaking away, streaking towards the line. They will get the first points. Lucie Rokchin of Czechia getting us off the mark. That's the captain leading by example.
Number 5, Kristina Rigentova.
Oh, it's a number 5. Get me a pair of glasses, Andy. I take it all back. It's Rigatova.
The conversion was good. It's 7-0.
Yeah, don't worry, Ian. We'll go to Specsavers when we get back to Scotland one time, but doesn't matter who it was a lovely piece of play. She threw a lovely little dummy pass. The French bit and didn't see her going through, and off she went right the way along from the halfway line. So a well-deserved try as we see the kick-off, unfortunately not making the 10 metres, which will give France an opportunity for a set play, which they can be very dangerous from with the power and pace that they have.
Czechia leading 7-0. 1.5 minutes played. France with possession and building a good attack. Into the 22 and dancing free. Dragged down just in front of the try line, but support is there in numbers. And France react most quickly and score the try.
Yeah, I'm not sure who it went over. Was it Blin? Salome Blin, I think, that went over. I thought it was going to be another one like the last one, the number 5, Renaudin, going over. I thought you wouldn't be able to see that number. Well, we're being told that it was Margot Defaux that scored that one. But again, great vision there, as we saw Renaudin going through a huge gap and then squeezing through a smaller gap, only to be tackled short, with Defaux diving over for the 1 yard score.
And Czechia making a bit of a meal of that kickoff, but they do have ball, they just don't have territory now. Coming from deep, fending and offloading, getting the ball into the wide channels, but there's no space to be had. The French defence, as ever, working really hard. Almost suffocating in their movement around the ball. And that ball does then just spill under the pressure, this relentless pressure from the French.
Yeah, it's a great defence tactic they've got there. We saw it with Germany a little bit in the previous games, and one of the previous games, sorry. What's happening is the winger there, so Zizi, she's firing up really quickly, which is forcing Czechia to go back inside, but at the same time the inside players are pushing up and out, so leaving nowhere for Czechia to go, and then forcing the error as they did there and giving them a scrum in a very good position, as we see Renaudin going close again. This time the pick up and drive over. That looks as if it was Marie Lefrancois diving over for the score in the corner.
Yeah, and that's the kind of instant answer that France wanted after conceding an early try. It will be a good contest between these two teams. I might have set France as a little bit too heavy favourites, but answering that early try, they conceded well. They had two of their own.
Yeah, I still think that France are, on paper anyway, they're the better team, and they'll come into their own. That first try was just an great individual effort from Czechia, and now France are starting to find their feet. They've got their structure looks good, as we just talked about. Their defence, and their attack, obviously a couple of scores up already, so their attack is obviously starting to click a little bit more, as we see Czechia receiving the ball from the kickoff and setting up the ruck and starting to move it wide once more. But unfortunately, a little error from them, allowing the ball to be space to be created for Barthélemy in the middle there to go through and under the sticks for another score.
Yeah, France just extend the lead with that, and business as usual, like you said, just coming into their stride. Well, there's 2 minutes left in the clock. By the time the kick's taken, it'll be more like 1.5. And it is successful, the conversion, so France adding the extra 2 points. First half, 17 points to 7. 1 minute 30 left to play. The kick going straight down the middle, trying to pose a different threat here for Czechia. And as ever, a hot contest at the breakdown. The jackal is good.
That's a lovely little steal from Czechia. It was Diallo, just a little offload that didn't quite go to the right place, and the Czechia defender was in the right place just to pop the ball up in one hand and catch it in two. And that attack from France just petered out from there. As we see a Czechia put in here on the far side, just on their 22. They'll be launching an attack from here, hopefully moving it a little bit wider. Let's put France under a little bit of pressure here. It's good recycling.
Indeed it is. And now Czechia do find the space. On the outside of Zizi, the defender. Once more, it's Rigatova going towards the line. She's got one. Now she's gotten two. And she's under the post once more. Zizi must just be a little bit tired because she was beaten quite comfortably on the outside channel there. But Rigatova, what a sprint, what an athlete.
Yeah, lovely play. I didn't see who the pass came from for Rigatova to be put into that space, but they just checked Zizi a little bit, which made her have to step half a little step inside, which meant that she had to turn and chase Rigatova. And Rigatova has enough speed there to get round the outside and go almost under the post there for another score to take this game to 17 points to 14 at half time.
Yeah, we've got a real fight on our hands here, Andy, a real battle. Two fantastically experienced sets of players. It's an exciting one. Here we see some highlights from that first half. Sit back and relax, enjoy it. Rigatova, that's her scampering in for number two.
It's great to have this tournament here in Split.
What a half of rugby, breathtaking stuff. We do have 7 more minutes before we have a slight break. We see there some bigwigs of the regional political scene.
I think I just heard that the Croatian president is here. He'll probably want to come and meet us. Maybe even offer us a job doing some political analysis, because our Croatian politics is so well known in this part of the country. But I'm sure we'll have a little chat with him later on. Hopefully he's enjoying the rugby. I know we are. Hopefully everyone out there is enjoying it. This is a great game as well to be watching. I'm sure with all the hierarchy there coming in, they've come at the right time to a game. 17-14, two strong teams. The weather is just perfect for watching this game, never mind playing it. I'm sure it's certainly not as hot as it was first thing this morning when we were playing in the blazing sun, and then also that driving wind. So second half about to get underway. Hopefully everyone, as I said, is enjoying it. I certainly would like to say that we are, from up in this position. Seen some great play so far.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And jokes to the side, it's absolutely fantastic to see such prominence here at the Rugby Europe Sevens Championship. Great to see what's going on in Croatia. Power to them, and let's hope they progress and grow the game here. There certainly seems to be a will, and where there's a will, there's a way. So, France, to get us underway once more. A good kick-off with the sun in the eyes for the defence as they pluck the ball out of the air. And coming away with the ball, it is Czechia, but that looks to be a good turnover attempt. No, it's not. France getting in a strong position, but missing the ball. Oh, and releasing on the floor and picking up some good presence of mind just to steal an extra few metres there and drag in a couple of extra defenders. Trying to force France to commit to these collisions. And they're off once more. Oh, that was Rigatova trying to do it for a third time, but the ball just going astray.
Yeah, once again Rigatova getting her hands and legs free and just attacking down that outside channel, but on this occasion a good chase back by France as we see a couple of changes coming onto the field in the shape of Fiorese and one other player there as well. Can we see it's Kozar, I think it is. Yeah, it's Kozar, 45, coming on there. Some fresh legs from the French team, looking to inject a bit of pace possibly as we go back to the line out inside the French 22.
Yeah, and the line out works well once more. We've said it a few times, but this French set pieces stable and strong, and whether it's scrum or line out, great attention to detail, and building the next attack from deep in their own half, just about leaving their 22 with that carry. Oh, and finding the gap, that was great little bit of footwork, and the support is on hand. Again looking to offload, but just knocking the ball on as she realised there was no one to offload to.
Yeah, it was a lovely little bit of play there, but some good defence from Czechia there as well. The ball just not quite going to hand for the French, but I loved the enthusiasm there. And it looked as if it was Laperme, I think, that was making the break.
Yeah, I thought she was going to go all the way. I didn't think she was going to get caught there, Andy, but she did.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, there's a good scramble defence from Czechia. You know, they know they're in this game. They're certainly going nowhere. We know they've got ability. So they're going to be fighting for everything. One score just puts them back on top. So let's see if they can do that. Let's see if they can make this count, because they're right in the middle of the field, scrum in the middle, split right the way across the field.
Split. Well done, Andy.
That's my Croatian joke for today. Thank you.
Aneska Marta Sladkova, maybe not quite as dangerous as she was a couple of years back, maybe lost a little bit of the pace, but still fantastic threat with the ball. 17 points to 14. Just under 5 minutes left of the second half. And Czechia having to work so hard for everything, and they do, and what a great break. The power through the challenges. That's number 14, Ditrichova for Czechia, and they take the lead here in Split, Croatia.
Yeah, lovely little break there from Beata Ditrichova, just from her own halfway. I mean, they were getting caught up a little bit. We saw just down on the 10-metre line, they got a bit confused, weren't sure where anyone was going, and maybe that confused the French defence a little bit. And Ditrichova just saw a little gap there, and then she had the afterburners to get through, and off she went. No real chase from the French back there. I didn't like that. That was one part I'd have to say from a French point of view. I didn't like the fact that nobody chased her back. They obviously just said, on you go. So they'll be hoping to gather this ball and get back up the field from the kickoff.
Yeah, I just wonder if the way the French defend with all this effort they're putting in, if maybe their tanks are just a little bit empty now as we reach the end of the game. They've been hustling so much off the ball, but now they do have the opportunity to attack with that penalty. Oh, and making a break of their own, streaking through the middle. They're not going to get caught, and France regaining the lead. I apologise for once more an error with the graphics showing France 17, Czechia 2. That is obviously not the score here. It's now 22 points to 21 for France. They have regained the lead, but it's a slender lead. 3 minutes left to play, and they'll take all the time in the world to make sure the conversion is a success. A 3-point lead, Andy, that's a precarious thing in sevens rugby.
Yeah, it is, but just going back to what you were saying, we were talking about their defence, and have they emptied the tanks there? Well, I think that attack just showed that it's not empty, especially when they've got ball in hand, and they can be very dangerous with that French flair, and that was a lovely little breakthrough and just going half the length of the field to get that score to put them those 3 points up. But as you say, it's there's a lot of time left to go yet. There's still the possibility of a couple of scores as Czechia get the ball. It was a free kick on the halfway line, ball not going 10.
and off they set.
France piling into that breakdown once more, and great presence of mind and awareness of the rules as well to come up with the ball on that occasion, stepping, looking for the outside shoulders, and they find them. A half break here, dragged down at the 10-metre line of the Czechia half. Oh, and the ball just recycled very well there as France work and hustle and try to protect that lead that they've worked so hard to get. So Andy, when we just came back from the lunch break, you were asking me about favourite games. I think this has probably got to be one of them, because I did not expect such a tit for tat. Yes, they're two well-matched teams, but 24-21 towards the end of the game is not necessarily the way I was expecting to go, with the lead changing so many times.
Yeah, I see that, and we just see a couple of changes coming on for France. They're just to liven it up. They're also 7 up against 6. That's a yellow card there against Czechia for just getting our hands in the way of the ball, and I think this could be the undoing of Czechia here as we see 7 against 6. I don't think they've got enough power to compete against these French, especially with 7 players, as we see Tony Fiorese going in under the post for a French score.
Yeah, Fiorese, who qualifies for France through her parents. Yeah, and France really have sealed the deal here now. 31 points to 21, so it's been a real tit for tat, but like you say, Andy, 6 players against 7 is a tough thing. Czechia fielding that well, but dragged down on their own 22. And France, once again, just the effort in defence. They're basing their whole game around that. When the defence works, France works.
Yeah, we just saw the sub that came on a few minutes ago. Kozar just went in there, just pure strength, ripping that ball away from the Czechia player. However, there was an infringement which gave Czechia the penalty. But look at the counter ruck here from France. It looks as if there's about 15 of them in there. But they're not giving up now. They're wanting another score to get them top of this table. Keeping on moving.
Oh, there's a heap of space out in this wide left-hand side. If France can move the ball there, that pass won't make it any easier. But the space on the right-hand side was closed down, and it opened up instead in the middle. France just finishing things off. And what looked to be just one of the closest, most exciting games of the tournament up to now ends in a quite convincing win in the end. 36 points to 21 for France. And that concludes the next block of split Croatia sevens.
Yeah, that just shows how quickly they can turn though in sevens. You know, they had a minute or two there. And they scored 2 tries in that period of time. And all the pressure suddenly went on to Czechia. That's how quick they can turn. Well played to France for coming through that in the end. Well played to Czechia. I thought they were in the game for most of it, as we said, but unfortunately just those silly little errors at the end cost them it, as we said. Move on to the end of this period here. Next up, in a few moments, will be the men's tournaments coming on at 5:30 local time.
7:30, Andy.
I apologise, 7:30 local time, 5:30 UTC, and it will be Belgium against Ukraine in the men's competition. We'll see you then.
In 20 minutes.